Alright, it is time. In today's video, I'm going to be picking my 2023 NBA All-Stars. This season is tough, man. Like, there is probably 4 or 5 guys that I think any other year would be All-Stars. But there is just so much talent around the league. So I'm going to be giving you guys my All-Star starters and my reserves. The NBA did switch it up this year, and they are doing the All-Star draft the day of the All-Star game, like an hour before, which is pretty cool because you don't really have to game plan it all with your team or anything. I'm not sure how the jersey situation is going to go. I just assume that they are going to have 2 jerseys printed out for each player for a team, probably LeBron and KD or whoever the top vote getter is in the Eastern Conference, and then they'll just probably maybe auction off the ones that aren't used or give them away. But yeah, I like that idea. That's really cool, NBA. So yeah, we are going to sort this by Eastern Conference and Western Conference, obviously. We'll start off in the Western Conference. We'll go with the starters, and we'll start off in the backcourt. I think that the 2 members are going to be Luka Doncic, a clear-cut, I think, first All-Star guard. Everybody's going to have him there. He's averaging 33 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. He's carrying the Dallas Mavericks this year, and I don't want to talk about team records too much because that doesn't really matter for the All-Star game. That goes into account when you talk about All-NBA teams, but not All-Star games. It's really just the more exciting players in the league and really who's putting up stats and who's looking the flashiest and who's the more entertaining players. So Luka Doncic is my first guard in the Western Conference, and then we're also going to have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Yes, he's getting the other guard spot starting in the West. We'll get into the reserves because a couple of those guys you could also mention here. I'll talk about them there. But Shai has just had an incredible season. He's still averaging 30 points per game. He's also at 5.5 assists, 5 rebounds, and the OKC Thunder have been overachieving this year. They're currently in the play-in tournament when I'm recording this. You guys might see this a couple days later, so if the stats are wrong, that is why. But I think Shai is 100% deserving of the All-Star starting spot. He has played in 43 games, and I think he, along with Luka, are the deserving Western Conference All-Star guards. So now we'll go into the forwards. There's a clear-cut guy at center. That's Nikola Jokic. He is the MVP favorite at the moment to win his 3rd straight, which is just out like insane. He's averaging 25 points, 9.9 assists, and 11 rebounds. There's a chance that Nikola Jokic is going to average a triple-double as a center. This isn't Russ from 2017, even Luka this year. This is someone that's like 6'11", and it's crazy what Jokic has been doing the past couple of seasons. He is one of my favorite players to watch in the league, and I know he's not super popular. He wasn't even in top 15 in current jersey sales this season, but for me, like, there's 3 guys that I love to watch every night, and that's Luka, Jokic, and Curry, and I just love watching Jokic's game. I'm a passing guy. I'm a sucker for a player that just is able to see the court and makes the crafty passes and can find that last one instead of maybe taking the shot. That's Jokic, man. He's definitely deserving of that spot. Next up, we are going to have LeBron James getting that other All-Star starting spot in the West. 30 points, 7 assists, 8.5 rebounds. This dude's been averaging 30-plus points since he's turned 38 years old. It's crazy the season LeBron's having. He's the most popular player in the NBA, or at least he's up there with probably Steph at this point, and he's 100% deserving. It's not even like, oh, it's LeBron, let's get him in. No, he's 100% deserving of an All-Star starting spot. He would, like, if the Lakers somehow get in the upper end of the play-in tournament and like maybe around the 6th seed. I don't know if that's going to happen, but he's going to have a bunch of MVP votes as well for what he's done. He's missed a little bit of time this year, but really not that much. He's played more games than Steph has this season, and LeBron is 100% deserving along with Nikola Jokic. So for the last All-Star starting spot, it's tough because Devin Booker's not getting it guard, Steph guard, Lillard guard, Ja Morant guard. Anthony Davis has missed too much time in my opinion. So yeah, for the last All-Star starting spot, it's tough, man, because AD, like I mentioned, only played 25 games. I was going to give it to Zion Williamson, but he's played 29 games, and you could give it to him if you want. But I'm giving it to Lauri Markkanen. Who would have thought in the preseason, after getting traded for Donovan Mitchell, Lauri Markkanen was going to be an all-star starter, or at least in that conversation. He's averaging 25 points, 9 rebounds. He has had an incredible season for the Utah Jazz, shooting 40+% from 3, 50+% from the field. He is the most improved player right now, in my opinion, and I'm giving him that all-star starting spot. He's played 45 games this year. That's something you can't say for Zion and for AD. I don't know if he's going to get it just because he's definitely not as popular as those 2 guys, and if they'll get voted in, we'll see if they even play in the All-Star game. It's looking like AD will be back, but who knows? He might want to be cautious and not play in it. But yeah, so that is my starters. It's going to be Luka, Shai, Jokic, LeBron, and Markkanen. So now let's get into the reserves. I'm going to give Anthony Davis and Zion Williamson the nods. We'll see if AD maybe eclipse 30 plus games by the All-Star starting game. So I'm going to give him a reserve spot because he was just so incredible in those 25 games. And like I said, if he gets to around 30, I think he deserves to at least be a reserve in the All-Star game. And then Zion Williamson as well, averaging 26 points, 7 rebounds. He was incredible when he was on the floor. The Pelicans were one of the best teams in the Western Conference, and we'll see if he gets north of 30 games by the All-Star game, which I think he will. And now it's time to give it to some guards. Steph Curry, he is definitely deserving of an All-Star spot. You could put him over Shea as an All-Star starter, and I'd be okay with that. So he's getting another spot there. I also believe that Ja Morant is definitely deserving of an All-Star spot. He's been incredible this year. He's going to flirt with the MVP conversation as well, because the Grizzlies are one of the best teams in the NBA, and he's averaging 27 and 8 basically. Yeah, Ja deserves to be in here. And then it gets tough for these final few spots. I got to give one of them to Damian Lillard, man. He's averaging just below 30 points a night, 7.5 assists. The Blazers have not been good as of late, and they got off to a hot start, but Damian Lillard has just been incredible, shooting 36 from 3 on 11 threes a night. He's still one of the more entertaining players in the NBA. He deserves to be an All-Star. So I believe I have 2 spots left in the Western Conference, and this can go to a plethora of guys. The first one is Devin Booker. Now, you could have also like no Devin Booker in here, but since I put in Anthony Davis, who's played less games than Devin Booker, I felt like I had to put Booker in the All-Star game. He's still averaging 27 points, 47 from the field, 37 from 3. Like I said, if you want to take out Devin Booker and put in somebody like Anthony Edwards due to games played, I am perfectly okay with that. And then with my last spot, I gotta give it to a Sacramento King. I'm gonna choose De'Aaron Fox because I'm not really playing the position game too much. But if you want to, if like you're like Matt, you gotta give it to a forward, give it to Domantas Sabonis because I think a King 100% needs to be in the All-Star game. I mean, Fox is averaging 24 and 6 this season. He's shooting 50% from the field. Like I said, if you want to give it to a forward, give it to Sabonis. And then if you want to take out maybe Devin Booker due to injuries, you could throw in a guy like Anthony Edwards. And if you want to throw out AD, you could put in somebody like Paul George or Jeremy Grant. I mean, you can go in through that kind of tier of players as well. But yeah, those are going to be my starters and reserves in the West. And now over to the Eastern Conference, man. This is tough. So we'll start in the Eastern Conference guards. The first one is definitely going to be Donovan Mitchell. First year in Cleveland, he's averaging 28 points a night. He's also averaging about 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and he also had a 71-point performance for the Cavs this season. He is a big reason why the Cavs have had some success to start the season. They've all had their own kind of injuries on the squad, but Donovan Mitchell definitely is an all-star starter in the Eastern Conference. And then it's between 2 players for the other spot. You could give it to Jaylen Brown. You could give it to Kyrie Irving. I'm going to go with Kyrie Irving. Yes, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 48% from the field, 37 from 3. Kyrie has been spectacular for the Nets this season, and he is going to join Donovan Mitchell in the Eastern Conference backcourt. Now for the toughest thing ever. We have 3 forward spots for 4 players in the East. You have Giannis, you have Embiid, you have Tatum, and you have Durant. So I think 2 definitely getting in are Jason Tatum and Giannis Antetokounmpo, both averaging around 31 points. Giannis is averaging 12 rebounds and 5 assists. He still gets it done on the defensive side of the floor. And Tatum, also a really good defender this year, 8.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. The Celtics are one of the best teams in the NBA and been like that since the start, since game 1 of the NBA season. I think you have to put Tatum and Giannis in the all-star starting category. And yes, this is between Embiid and Durant. I was maybe hoping Durant wasn't going to come back before the All-Star break and just come back like the first game after. So this would make this decision a lot easier. And while Kevin Durant has been insane this season, and I already gave it to a Brooklyn Net, Embiid is going to get very close into games played against KD for this. I'm going to give it to Joel Embiid. I mean, he's averaging 33.6 points. At the moment I'm recording this, he's tied with Luka for number 1 in the league. You can't not put in the NBA's leading scorer in the All-Star starters. You just can't. Yeah, like 33 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Embiid's getting that last spot in my opinion. So for the reserves, I already mentioned 2 of them so far. Kevin Durant, 30 points per game. The dude's getting any shot he wants like he has his whole career. He's my first reserve. And then also we're going to have Jaylen Brown in there as well. I'm going to put Trae Young in there. Now, Trae Young really hasn't been the most efficient player this year. 42 from the field, 31 from 3. But he's averaging 27 points and 10 assists. I don't think you can leave that like off the all-star roster, so he's going to make it. I think DeMar DeRozan is definitely deserving of a spot. 26 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He's shooting 50% from the field. He's still having an incredible season. DeRozan's getting another reserve spot. Pascal Siakam deserves another reserve spot here. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 47% from the field. I'm so happy that he's having a great season because he was like my number 1 player in my top 5 players I love list that I made in the start of the season. And like the East reserves is like the opposite of the Western guards. there were so many Western guards that deserve to make it into the All-Star game, and there's so many East forwards that deserve to make it. I'm going to count Brown as a guard because this is going to get tough. So we have Young and Brown, reserve guards, and then we have right now Siakam, DeRozan, and Durant. So I'm going to choose one more forward and one more guard. The last forward spot, I'm going to give it to Julius Randle. I'm trying not to be a Knicks bias this year, but he has been incredible. 24 points, 11 rebounds, 45% from the field. He's been the Knicks' best player this year. Like, in the third quarter, they looked lost against the Cavs. They won 105-103. And like a 36-point performance, 8 for 12 from downtown. Yep, Randle's getting it in. I'm trying not to be biased there or a homer, but I think he deserves it. So we have one last guard spot, which is tough. You could give it to maybe somebody like Zach LaVine, Bradley Beal. No Heat are going to make it, in my opinion, and Bam or Jimmy Butler, which is kind of crazy. And I'm going to go with like a fan favorite this year, Tyrese Halliburton. 20 points, 10 assists. He's shooting 39 from 3, 48 from the field. The Pacers, like I mentioned for the Thunder, have exceeded expectations. If you want to throw, like somehow get Jimmy Butler in here, if you want to put Zach LaVine or Drew Holiday, I'm perfectly okay with that. Like I said in the beginning of the video also, there's going to be so many honorable mentions. So that's what I'm going to go with in the Eastern Conference, at least for the starters. We're going to have Donovan Mitchell and Kyrie Irving. We'll have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, and Jason Tatum in the forward spots. And then off the bench, we're going to have like KD, Jaylen Brown, Siakam, Julius Randle, DeMar DeRozan. Yes, I gave it to Trae Young. If you want to take him out of there, I am fine with that. And Tyrese Halliburton. I'm sure you guys can see it on the screen now. All right, so just to hop in here as I'm finishing up the editing of this video, I'm going to actually take out Trae Young, and I'm going to put in James Harden. I don't know why I didn't even mention James Harden when I was making this. And, you know, James Harden's been efficient from 3 this season. He has missed a decent amount of games as well. But I had AD and I had Zion and Booker in the All-Star game who have played all less games than James Harden. Harden's already at 30, and he's definitely deserving. So I'm going to keep in Halliburton, but I'm going to take out Trae Young and put in James Harden. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Drop a like if you did enjoy this video. Let me know if there's anybody that I snubbed that you think 100% deserves to get in. And if you think like there's somebody I mentioned that you don't think deserves to get in or shouldn't start, please let me know down below. Remember, this was just my opinion. Drop a like if you did enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace, y'all.